All right, this video is on flexibility. A lot of people stretch generally, and a lot of those people see no change in their mobility. There is a difference between stretching to feel good, which is perfectly fine, nothing wrong with that. It's acceptable behavior. I do it all the time. I feel kink right here in my neck, right? And it's uncomfortable. And so I'll, maybe stretch my neck like so, right? It'll feel better afterwards. That's why I do it. But if I know I have an actual restriction somewhere because I've been assessed by a professional or through testing to find that out, I have way more benefit waiting for me in the future if I invest time in addressing my specific needs. Generally, stretching just to feel good tends to not make anything change over time in the majority of people. There's two main reasons for this. If you guys want to become more mobile, able to achieve better positions with grace and ease in the body, you need to know these two reasons. Number one, think about the world outside the gym. Nature. In nature, especially in mammalian biology, there is no circumstance where an animal is under threat, fear, anxiety, frustration, fight or flight kind of hormonal scenarios. There's no situation where they're experiencing that and they're not tense. Fight or flight, stress, anger, anxiety, fear, all necessitate tension in the human body. Most people I speak to live pretty chaotic, stressful lives and brush it off like it's normal. Is it any wonder they feel tight? Is it any wonder they feel restricted in a front rack position or a deep squat? Of course not. They're living a high stress life. They are an animal creating signals in their system to maintain the tightness. Guess what? If you want to change your mobility, you got to change your life. You got to change your stress. You got to change your emotional experience of your day-to-day life so that you don't experience much fear, anger, frustration, anxiety, panic, things of that nature. Much bigger video, much bigger task to do that, but you need to know it's real and you can't stretch that problem away because you can't change you being a mammal in the world, in the natural world. Second reason, you have tightness stopping you from being in a certain position, like a deep squat, for example, is because you've trained your body to be tight, not just from the emotional fight or flight response, but through your daily life. Your body is the direct result of the choices you've made over the last several years and decades of your life. Own it. It's not judgment, it just is. So, example, if somebody's sitting, they're in a chair, working. Look at these angles. The hip is short. The head is forward, which means all this stuff is short. The upper back is rounded, which means all that stuff is weak and long. Right? The ankle joint stays basically in this position and doesn't ever have to move forwards in dorsiflexion. So, as an example, if somebody's sitting all day, every day, they're going to have tight hip flexors. They're going to have tight pecs and lats. All right? They're going to have tight ankles. Most of the people I service, they need thoracic, meaning middle of the back mobility, to allow them to open up and get overhead positions. That same issue causes the problems around the front rack position. Those same people tend to be tight through their hip flexors, and then those same people tend to be tight through their ankles. What I find, and what my colleagues who are more educated find, is that those that stretch the areas that they are actually restricted in systemically change a lot of what's occurring in their body and their mobility, especially if they endeavor to change the fight or flight sort of hormonal environment they live in day to day. You are far better off getting assessed and then given a few exercises, 3, 4, 5 at most, to address your specific mobility problems than you are generally stretching, hoping that something will change. Go get assessed, endeavor to change the stress management of your life, and then set down a path following a plan through you and the professional to actually every day or every other day perform your 3 to 5 stretches, and do that for months straight while you address your general stress in life, and watch your mobility dramatically change. You go through this equation and you invest maybe a year or two of it consistently, you will almost guaranteed be living in an entirely different body. And I don't care whether you're 20 or 80, it will be the same effect.